El Nuevo Comienzo. What a wonderful phrase. It means no worries for the rest of your days. Okay, there you go. In reality, it means the new beginning, which perfectly epitomizes the trifecta that is not only for this cigar and its origins, but for this new series that we are unveiling today. So buckle up, because roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. As you can see, I'm about this life. Back to the Future, in my opinion, is the greatest film of all time. From when I first saw it as a kid until now, it still holds up. And the only thing that could possibly match that level of enthusiasm is my love for cigars. After picking up this tradition, I couldn't seem to put it down. And the idea that I can combine my two biggest passions together for this series was a no-brainer. Now, I want to be 100% transparent by giving credit where it's due. While this concept for me is nothing new, it would be nowhere near as fleshed out without the inspiration from Privada Cigar Club. About 5 years ago, when I really started getting heavy into cigars, my buddy Turtle and I always talked about the idea of aging our collection. Because you pick up one that you like and maybe you want to revisit it a year from now. But at 22, 23, we did not have the money to be buying boxes like that. So a few years after that, I see the Cigar Club online and, believe it or not, this is how I actually found out about Privada, with their Back to the Future line. This was density. I mean destiny. So to explain a little bit more on what they did and what I'm doing with this series, we are taking a cigar that was made some years ago and pairing it alongside the present day version of it being sold today. And this is where I tip the cap to Brian at Privada, because he and this community really made these cigars accessible. I can tell you from experience, good luck trying to track down some of these sticks yourself, especially if you are not buying by the box. Enter me. I have found some of the hottest cigars released this past year and bringing them back to the future. So with that being said, El Nuevo Comienzo. If you don't know the story of Paul Stulac, it is one that I believe this community should champion. Based out of Halifax, Canada, this guy finds a passion for cigars, like we all have, and decided to set up shop with his own humidor kiosk. After putting in the work and the grind, he eventually cracks into the industry with his very own line, Paul Stulac Cigars. From here, we have liftoff. He's featured in magazines, receiving rave reviews everywhere. The future looks bright. Until silence. The FDA steps in with its ridiculous measures that no tobacco business could meet, let alone this boutique batch. So he decides to hang it up. But before his jersey could collect too much dust in the rafters, he gets a call from Brian at Privada. I know, this guy again, right? I'm telling you, this story goes full circle. Because he agrees to a deal with Privada, dusting off some of the cigars that he put to rest, and is even featured as the very first Back to the Future project that Privada ran. Now, due to the overwhelming positive response from the club, Stulac decided to come out of retirement to find the love that he once left behind. So fast forward to early 2020, Paul Stulac is between two blends for the new line that he wants to reintroduce himself with. Now, who better to turn to than the members of the club that backed him before? Under the names of only 25 and 26, Privada releases 2 test blends for its members to try and ultimately vote on what would become El Nuevo Comienzo, Paul Stulac's new beginning. Through a close poll, number 26 ends up winning, being the blend of the 2 iterations that I have in front of you today. The blend consists of a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder and filler, and for tasting notes we have chocolate and red pepper with a sweet creamy oak, along with leather and cocoa that packs a strong retrohale. For the number 26 test blend, the notes that I mentioned before were very prevalent. I mean, this thing is strong. And I consider myself a full-body smoker, but this thing definitely put me to the test with a score of a 7. And for El Nuevo Comienzo, I don't know if age played a factor here or if there were any more iterations between the test blend till now, but all the flavors are still there with surprising subtlety, leaving more room for barnyard hay notes, giving it a 9 and a final score of an 8 between the two. Either way, Mr. Stulac, you have yourself a banger here. And if this is just the beginning, I can't wait to see what the future has in store. Now you might be asking, whatever happened to the other test blend, number 25? Well, looks to me like we have ourselves a sequel.